Greetings, pilgrims. I was just watching a YouTube with Hans Conried and Connie Stevens, and it reminded me of the day that I met Hans Conried, or Conrad. He played the voice in the Bullwinkle series, and he also played Uncle Tanoose on Make Room for Daddy with Danny Thomas. And at the time, we lived up in Chatham, New Jersey, on 77 Myersville Road in Chatham, New Jersey, Chatham Township to be more specific. And I lived up to that time my entire life in that house, and I had a great bedroom upstairs. And my dad also had his ham shack upstairs where he worked all around the world. And there was also a window up there where you can get on the roof and get to the top of the roof and see these beautiful views around. Anyhow, one day while I was upstairs, my dad came up with a gentleman and a dear friend of the family, Robert Carver. He lived on Fairmont Avenue, and him and my dad were buddies. They both had boats. They both had interests in various antique notes, in collectibles, raffle tickets, lottery tickets, stuff from the Revolutionary War, essentially. And anyhow, apparently Bob Carver knew Hans Conrad. And he knew him because Mr. Carver had a collection of nutskis, which are these carved ivory things that are from China, I guess, or the Orient. I've seen them. And not only did Bob Carver have a collection of these, but Hans Conrad had a collection of these. And they were very dear to both of them. And Bob Carver brought Hans Conrad over to the house to see my dad's collection of nutskis. And that's where I met him. And he was such an impressive person from his presence. Somehow, without even knowing who he was, he had this genuine sense of caring, like he actually gave a damn as to who the hell I was. And he tried to connect with me just in a few words. I've seen this several times in my life, but this was probably the first time that I was totally mesmerized by someone without truly understanding the significance of who he was and his talents, his expertise as a very serious actor. And I'll never forget that day when I met Hans Conrad coming up the stairs in my bedroom on his way out to see my dad's nutski collection, which was also up there, and also in I think it was in my dad's ham shack up there. He was, by the way, my father was W2DEO, and it turns out he was in the Naval Reserves. He was a third-class petty officer radio operator in the Naval Reserves, and he was given an honorable discharge, I think in 37 or something, 38, before we got involved in the war. And he was never called for service after his discharge out of the reserves. He had a family at that time of, I guess, at least 3 kids, maybe 4. It's hard to say. And but once again, it's amazing how in life you meet some interesting people, and some, even though it's for not split second, maybe we were conversing for a couple minutes, and then he went on his way with my dad. I also met Paul McCready up at Stevens Institute one day, and that's another story which I will tell at another time, but that was another privilege So that's the deal. Uncle Tanous from Danny Thomas Show. I met him. Take care.